All right. Once again, welcome and come well to another episode, another doorway, another portal entitled Am I as I am, as you are? um, this is going to be some short, straight to the point. Touch upon a few points real quick to get the message out and to get it out as clearly as possible as well. This is titled part two to what is the creator? What is a creator? What is the creator? Which is you. To help you understand and grasp that there is nothing out there. There's no creator out there. You are the creator, which is reaching out for yourself, but you need to reach in to this self or to the self. There's just a whole bunch of just a few different points to touch upon. It's going to be something, like I said, short and straight to the point. Just more evidence again why you are the creator. There is no creator out there but you. Of course, you already know how the format is and how we go along with this. Line after line, or what I say, doorway for doorway, or doorway after doorway, and together we walk down this hallway. Alright? Alright. The first line and or doorway is the existence of water, mirrors, stones, crystals, glass, etc. Things that just are, so that one may see their self in order to activate self-reflection within their self, to enhance self-realization within oneself in order to motivate or propel action, to convert energy into action or kinetic energy. Some reflectings are natural. Now, what I mean by this is that certain things are natural. Certain things that you look at or have, you can see your reflection, you can see yourself in these things. The natural things would be considered water, water, stones, crystals, pupils, like eyes. Pardon me. Water, stones, crystals, and pupils. And the made up or the produced or created reflections or things that reflect, you can see yourself, are mirrors, glass, phone, TV, and laptop screens. Natural reflections bring about enlightenment, and the unnatural reflections trigger the ego. Or trigger the lower nature. One activates the higher nature, the other one triggers the lower nature. Which is why, like, a lot of spiritual people don't like to have, like, a lot of mirrors in their house. They say don't look in the mirror too much because you're validating physical form, which is actually a disappearing thing. You know, it doesn't stay or remain forever. But you're validating it every time you look in the mirror. So, natural things which exist like water, stones, and crystals. It's not a mistake or coincidence that you can actually see yourself, you can see a reflection of yourself within water or within stones, stones or crystals. You can see yourself in these things. That's not a mistake, that these things were created for one to see itself. And these things are things that just are so that one may see their self in order to activate self-reflection within their self to enhance self-realization. So you're seeing a reflection of yourself, which is the principle of self-reflection, in order to enhance self-realization and realization of yourself. So you see a reflection of yourself, that's self-reflection. And when you see that self-reflection, that's to turn inward in the opposite way inside you to be something that activates self-realization. The realization of yourself. of the self, not yourself, but the space self. So self-reflection for self-realization. So the self-reflection is the activating aspect to activate the self-realization. Self-reflection turned around inward, self-realization. Okay? So that's what these things are. When you see your reflection in a stone, you see your reflection in the water, when you see your reflection in the crystal, it's to activate self-realization within you. Self-reflection outward, self-realization inward. See, so even when you look out, it's pointing you back in. Whatever you're looking out at, it's an arrow pointing in. Understand that, okay? You can, sure you can, 'cause it's pretty simple. I'm breaking it down. I'm not breaking it down technical or complicated for anybody not to understand. I don't think I am. And this is to motivate or propel action, to convert energy into action or kinetic energy, to turn energy, regular energy, into kinetic energy, which is action or movement, energy in motion. So now we're saying natural things that reflect, or natural reflections, or natural reflect things, or natural reflectings, like water, stones, crystal, and somebody's pupil. You can see yourself in somebody's pupil. So, which is why even the lens on this laptop is like a pupil. I'm looking into there and I can see myself on the screen. Same goes for you and your laptop or your computer, which has a lens at the very top of it. It looks like an eye looking back at me. The eye looking back at me, all I do is go down and I see myself on a screen. Everything is an imitation and a mimicking of that which operates and functions internally in some way. In the way, pardon me. And things like mirrors, glass, phone screens, TV screens, and laptop screens, they trigger the ego in a certain way because they don't have a natural base. It's not a natural thing which comes from this realm. It's something which was created or produced in a factory or facility somewhere, that went through machines and different technologies, and now you have it, at your fingertips at home, or in your pocket. But things that weren't touched or weren't created by man or weren't created by the human hand, the human hands, the human brain, things that just are. Water just is. Stones and crystals just are. They're just there. We didn't put it there. It's there. It's telling you I'm here. When you look at it, you see yourself. These natural things activate self-reflection, which in turn activates self-realization. Computer screens, laptop screens, mirrors, like even this mirror I have on my unk, this mirror with these crystals around it. This is just so you can see yourself to activate the God within. So when you look at me, you see this, you see yourself. But a mirror is something, it's actually, a lot of people don't know what mirrors, you know what mirrors are made of? Or how they make a mirror? Mirrors are actually made of sand. If you didn't know, now you know. But, so that's why, and it's funny how even sand is the closest thing to water or dirt. Dirt, sand, because when dirt loses mineral, it turns into sand. So sand it's funny how it's the closest thing. They're using sand to create mirrors. Or sand gets used to create a mirror. So mirrors are actually made from sand. And it's funny how it's right next to the water. Go figure. Which is a natural reflection. Mirror is an unnatural reflection. Water is a natural reflection. It's also used in movies and certain, Talking about exorcism and exorcists, and they put the mirror on the demon. It was used actually in what was that movie called? Right there. I don't know, some movie with Keanu Reeves about demonology, about demons and all this other. It's a popular movie. I just forget the name at the moment. But they had to turn the demon on itself in order to pull the demon. They had to pull the mirror on top of the person, in front of the person, in order for the demon to get cast out the body. Which is nothing but, that's just an over exaggeration and special effects and graphics and crap. But it just means that it's pulling the ego out of you. You can, which is why some people stay stuck in the mirror. They want to dress and comb their hair and look beautiful all day in front of the mirror. With every car they pass or they walk past, they keep looking at the glass of the car, to see how they look, to make sure they look okay. No. Mirrors and glass, these are artificial and unnatural objects of reflections or reflectings, which you can see your reflection from, but that triggers the ego. If you look into something natural like water, stone, or crystal, or somebody's pupil does something different to you, to the psyche, does something different to the psyche, because something within you says this thing is natural, which I'm looking into, that I can see myself. When you're looking at unnatural things, something within you says this is something unnatural, this has nothing to do with it, therefore the ego pops up. Because it'll take that. I look beautiful, I look pretty. I need to fix my hair, maybe I should fix my shirt, make sure I look okay. Let me look in every single mirror you walk past in the department store, the clothing store. You're looking past every mirror you walk past, you're looking at yourself. Looking at yourself, looking at yourself, looking at yourself, looking at yourself to see if you look nice, pretty, or handsome, or if you're well put together. That kind of deals psychologically with insecurity, but that's a whole nother thing. So one thing sparks enlightenment or activates enlightenment, the other one triggers ego. Okay, these are certain things we're talking about, reflections. And these things actually exist because the creator that you are, it, not you, but it, because you're actually an it. You're actually an I, which is an it. It can never look at itself because it is the all-seeing. Looking and seeing are two totally different things. I can look somewhere, but am I, looking is something that you direct and divert your attention away from something and look at something else, and divert your attention away from something else and look at something else. I'm going out of my way. I'm doing it with my will. I'm looking at something on purpose, intentionally. Seeing is just seeing. I'm not looking, I'm not moving my head, not moving my neck. I just see something. It is the all-seeing. But when you look at something, willingly look at something, choose to look at something, decide to look at something that shows the reflection back upon, shows you see your reflection as something that you're looking at, that's when it gets to see itself. Or to see the physical thing that it has created for itself. Okay, so it can never look at itself because it is the all-seeing. It doesn't have eyes. You have eyes. Understand that this it that I'm talking about is also you. That you created something called eyes. Okay? Looking and seeing are two totally different things. But we as human bodies with eyes can look at ourselves. And through us looking at ourselves, it gets to see itself as the physical creation it created for itself. So one more time. But we as human bodies with eyes can look at ourselves. Let's say with stones, crystals, water, somebody's pupil in their eye. We can see ourselves. We can look at ourselves through that reflection. And through us looking at ourselves, it, the creator that you are, gets to see itself through us looking. And it gets to see itself as the physical creation that it created for itself. Don't get lost in the word it. When I say it, I mean you. It's the unknown aspect it created for itself. Okay? So don't get that too confused. It is not something separate from you. Okay? Um, for you to see yourself or to see the self. This is why water crystals, pupils, and stones, mirrors, glass, screens, these things exist so that it's for you to see yourself or to see the self, to know that yourself is present or to know that the self is present, to go into yourself or to go into the self in order to know yourself, which means in order to know the self. So these are why these reflections are here, and while we look back and we see a reflection of ourself, of our physical self in some way. When we look at these things, we can see a reflection of ourselves in these things, reflecting back at us. So four things. For you to see yourself and or to see the self. That's one. Two, to know that yourself is present, which is to know that the self is present. Three, to go into yourself, which is to go into the self. And four, in order to know yourself, which is to know the self. So to see, to know that you're present, to go into it, and to know yourself. Or for you to see yourself, to know that you're present, to go into yourself, and to know yourself. So it has these things, we created these things for us to look back upon ourselves so that we may go into ourselves. That's why these reflections actually exist. Or these things that reflect back upon us, ourself, actually exist because we as the creator created that for ourselves, to see ourselves, to be into ourselves, to know ourselves, to get to know ourselves, true self, the self. Alright? Don't get too lost. Don't get lost at all. So the next line in our doorway is influence, inspiration, and motivation is nothing but fulfillment, fill-ins and colorings or color-ins to create the you, which you appear to be and are. These principles are your own pre-created crayons, markers, and paint created by you that you use and utilize to color in your reality and your truth. You're a constant void that gets filled by its own created fillings, simultaneously filling in the void where the other filling in derives from in order to keep the filling in going. Influence, inspiration, motivation. These are all arrows to keep you going in. You get influenced, get inspired, motivated, and these are fulfillments to fulfill the void which you truly are. But these principles, these three principles, influence, inspiration, and motivation, are nothing but principles pre-created by you. So you're always empty. You're always a black and white coloring book. No matter how many crayons, markers, and paint that you created for yourself to color yourself in, you remain this void. But influence, inspiration, and motivation, this is to keep you going, but not necessarily to keep you going out there, but to keep you going in here, to keep this fulfilled, even though this is a void. But you fulfill this void as much as possible. Which is why no matter how much you have or how much you got, what you're doing, you're never really truly, actually, genuinely and honestly satisfied. You can have a great marriage, a great job, money, property, whatever you find of value to you, whatever you see as value, whatever you perceive as value to you in this reality, in this present reality, this present life form, this present liveliness. But it's still dissatisfied. You want more. You're a void. You're actually nothing. So, but these feelings that are filling you in or filling your void in are also fillings are also things that you created as well to fill yourself in. You're actually nothing and you remain nothing. That's what the creator is. It's actually nothing. So, it's constantly a swallowing in, a vacuuming in, a taking in because it wants to know everything. And you, the creator aspect, is the aspect of ourself that we forgot that we are, or that it made itself forget itself on purpose. None of this is by accident or by mistake. Everything is on purpose. This is intentionally happening. It intentionally happens for you. Okay. The next line in Odoe is, there is nothing outside the creator itself. Everything that you've thought of outside of you and inside of you came straight out of your own mind. It all came straight out of you. Where else does anything else or could anything else truly, truly exist? There's nothing outside of you. In metaphysics, we learned, the Brother Valley, that nothing is higher than the human head. Somebody may say, well, I can see the sky and the clouds. There's a plane up there. I can still see that. That's higher than me. There's nothing higher than the human head. That's the sky, that's a cloud, that's color out there. That's a rainbow. That's a plane. That's a jet. That's a bird. What do you mean there's nothing higher than the human head? That's higher than me and higher than the human head. My question to you is, what? Okay, no doubt. But tell me this: what is looking at the bird, the plane, the jet, sky, the clouds, rainbow? And you're gonna have to say your eyes, and I'm gonna say, okay, now, would you agree with me that your eyes are on your head? So, understanding that is taking it from a metaphysical point of view. That doesn't leave too much wiggle room for an argument or disagreement. Understanding that metaphysically and being honest with yourself, is being chilled, taking in silence for you. That answer, that response. Okay. The next line in Odoe is, another reason why you are the creator. I know what that you're the creator. Give me more evidence. How do I know I'm the creator? What do you mean I'm the creator? Well, you create your own heaven and hell. Do you not? What they want to call God, the creator. You create your own heaven and hell. Or heaven and hell. Whatever direction you want to put it. It's basically your own lower nature and your own higher nature. You create your own lowest of lows and highest of highs. How deep you drop and how high you rise. So you create your own lowest of lows and highest of highs, which in turn, or another way of understanding, is how deep you drop or how high you rise. You create that for yourself. What I mean, you create your own heaven and hell is you create your own, what they want to call heavenly, pleasant thoughts, and you create your own hellish, miserable way of thinking. So, if something that you are has control and governs both of these polarities, what else can you be besides the creator itself? besides what they call God itself? What else can you be? What else can you be? If you're touching the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, then where are you at? What are you? I could see if you was just creating hell, you had no understanding about what heaven is. If you're just creating heaven, pleasant thoughts, you had no idea what bad thoughts were, or the highest nature and the lowest. Or you're just the high nature without the low nature, or the low nature without the high nature, and it doesn't exist in the orbit of you. Then we may have a conversation. But if anyone watching this video right now went through anything of confusion, frustration, miserable pain, misery or pain, or joy or bliss, or ecstasy or pleasure, if you went through all these states and you touched upon the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, then where are you? And most importantly, what are you? If you are creating these thoughts and creating the body to be this way, and your biology to be a certain way, and your health to be a certain way, and your sickness to be a certain way, what are you? You have to be something beyond that, right? Something which is prior to that, and something that supersedes as well. You are the creator. Okay? You create your own content. Next line in the doorway is, in order to cure it, you have to know how to create it. The word 8 is the same word and number as the number 8. As above, so below, as within, so without. In order to care for it, you have to know how to create it or to create for it. To care for it or to cure it, you have to know how to create it or to create for it. Which is why some people can become ill or sick, psychologically or physically, biologically, chemical, whatever's going on in their system or their mind, the brain, body or brain, the brain or body. And you can think one way, you can be in a certain state of pain, but think one way, and all of a sudden the pain starts to subside and starts to disappear because you're not putting your attention on it. So that means that your attention is life. If your attention is life, then what are you? You're truly the life giver or the death giver. You determine what's going to happen to you depending upon your mind, depending upon your attention, depending upon whether you know that you're the creator, which can create any heaven for yourself or any hellish thoughts for yourself. You can create a high vibration or a low vibration of some nature at your own will, whenever you choose to, whenever you want to, if you want to. Whether you know it or not, known or unbeknownst to you. So what are you? If you do that, you can cure something by creating a certain mindset, utilizing the imagination, utilizing your knowledge, utilizing your wisdom, your understanding of certain things. And you create a certain circumstance to happen and unfold before you. What are you? What else can you be besides a creator? Create your own content, right? So what the hell are you? You are the creator within its own creation, recreating what's already been created for you, by you. One more time. You are the creator within its own creation, recreating what's already been created for you, by you. You are the creator within its own creation, recreating what's already been created for you, by you. You set this whole damn thing up for yourself. You set the whole thing up for yourself. And no matter what you're using or utilizing, it still was created by you. For what purpose? For you. There's nothing outside of you. There's nothing here but you. That's why nothing here can be against you. It's an impossibility for anything here to be against you, regardless of what you're going through and how you're seeing it and perceiving things to be. Because if everything is you, how could anything be against you? Which means that everything and anything is actually for you if you know how to find benefit of it, or if you know how to make it serve you. See, so don't get caught in the right or wrong, bad or good, pure and evil. This is just duality to keep things going, just like a clock. The clock has a pendulum. Pendulum swings back and forth on the old clocks. And as it's going, time is going. So as this goes back and forth, it keeps the time going. It keeps you in the body for duality. You have to touch upon both sides. Put you through some bullshit, put you through some good shit. Go through some bullshit, go through some good shit. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You have to touch upon both sides. You have to be in heaven at some time. You have to be in hell at some time. You have to be up and you have to be down. You have to be in and you have to be out. You have to be wise and you have to be ignorant. You have to be all that is, because you are the all and the all-seeing. That can only see itself when you look at yourself. See? That's why you have two eyes and you're looking at the screen right now. You see me on the screen and you have two eyes. Why are you not seeing two of me? Why are you only seeing one of me? That's why the word I is the same letter as the letter I. These two things are actually one point and one view. So yeah, there's a such thing as duality, but only to a certain extent. Because once you go beyond duality, right and wrong, good and bad, pure and evil, you start to see that middle point which actually exists. You have two eyes, but you have one view. What does that tell you? Both things are connected. Heaven and hell is connected. Right and wrong is connected. Good and bad is connected. Pure and evil is connected. At the middle point. But what is that middle point? That middle point is the creator, which is you. You are the creator. You create this whole damn thing. Understand that. It's not too many lines left. What about two more? The next line in our doorway is example. You worshiping something out there and up there is symbolic and equivalent to you being the heart and following and worshiping the brain. Right? One more time. You worshiping something out there and up there is symbolic and equivalent to you being the heart worshiping and following the brain. What do you mean by that? Well, when you look up there, thank God, and I pray to Jesus, I pray this God and that God and this God, and you look up, and that's symbolic of if the heart had hands, the heart would be doing this. And it'll be, and if the heart had hands and eyes, if your heart had hands and eyeballs, it'll be going like this and going like this. And what's up there or above the heart? The brain. So, pardon me. You worshiping something out there and up there is symbolic and equivalent to you being the heart worshiping and following the brain. How backwards is that? That's the heart looking up and glorifying the brain. First, understand that there's no such thing as up and down as well as in. out to a certain degree. That's a little deeper. But which is why people have a God and they see an image of this God. They see it has long hair, or it's white, or it's black, or it's green, or it's brown, or it's yellow, or it's purple, or whatever God that they're worshiping has a certain kind of form, that has a certain kind of head, that has a certain kind of face, has a name, that has a history, and has a physical body or physical presence. Doesn't the brain is the physical part. Why do you think you see a physical body, or it has a history to it, or the God has a name to it, or creator has this and creator has that? That's the brain. That's the heart worshiping the brain. So if you're worshiping and following something outside of you and above you, then you're actually the heart, which is the path of the heart, or the heart path, is what you truly are, worshiping the brain. You're worshiping a creator out there and up there somewhere that doesn't even exist. And that's why it has an image, a name, and a history, and an age, and a clothes, and a color, because that all happens within the brain. The brain gives you a name and a color and age, and it's concerned with this physical reality, with this reality which is intangible, with this reality which is tangible and which is a passing on phenomenon. This is a temporal body. This is a temporary place of existence that we're having this physical experience within. This is temporary. This is not real. This dies. This disintegrates. This goes through rigor mortis. It disappears. It goes away. You can't take this with you. So it gives you temporary images. A God or a creator with a name and an age and a birthday and the clothes and the color and the body structure and the image and the face. Why do you think your God or your creator that you think is out there and up there has a name, a body, color, image, face, birthday, a history? That's all the brain. That's the brain's job to do that. You are the creator. But I'm not, it has nothing to do with me being, losing myself because you want to do that. You are the creator. You can create creators outside of you. You can create a main creator outside of you. The creator, which is you, can create a main creator outside of its own creation. Outside of its body to worship and look up. But it's only looking at itself just in a different way, in a different form. In a physical form, another physical form. If you are a physical form, why look up to another physical form? But if that's what works for you, by all means, proceed with that. Keep going towards that. The next line anno doorway is the same way that electrons, protons, and neutrons circulate, cipher, and orbit the atom or atomic nucleus, is the same pattern, action, and rotation of your invention and creation of gods outside of you and around you. What does that mean? Your psychology mimics your biology. Your psychology mimics your biology, physiology, and micrology. That's even a word, micrology. You're nothing but a macrocosmic imitation of the microcosmic rotation. One more time. You're nothing but a macrocosmic imitation of the microcosmic rotation. Every point of power in rotation around your orbit, which are electrons, protons, neutrons, things that come from that, molecules and compounds, is nothing but points of potential and or points of potential to become. To become what? To become whatever you wish to will it into being. That's why they circulate around you in circular motion to give you a 360-degree peripheral experience, to home yourself inside of your own 360-degree perception of truth. Why do you think your gods are out there and up there and your creator is out there when you think your creator is out there? Why are they out there and up there and around you? Because you're what is identified as the atom or the atomic nucleus, and I'd say my God is up there as an example of the electron. Somebody says, my God is over here, my creator is out there, which that's an example of a proton. Well, my God is over there, that's an example of a neutron. So just like electrons, protons, and neutrons circulate the atomic or the atom or the atomic nucleus of something, it's the same way that we say, my creator is there, my creator is there, my creator is over here, 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 or my creator is over here. These are points of power. And these points of power, we're giving them a name and a title and a God and a creator and history and an image and a body and a form. But we're just acting and behaving the same way we are as an atom. We don't even know it. We think there's an actual creator out there somewhere, or there's an actual creator out here somewhere, or above me, or out there somewhere. And we're nothing. It's an example of the atom, the atomic nucleus, pointing at an electron and saying, my creator lives over. My creator is out there. And the atomic nucleus pointing at a proton and saying, well, my creator is over here, and his name is this, or her name is that, and it's the history to it. You're going outside your orbit, family. Whatever you're pointing to, saying that you're creating your God, is nothing but these points of power. These are points of power, which is electron, neutron, and proton, which accumulate into molecules and compounds, which gets more and more physical. That's why the more and more you get into these gods and creators, the more and more you become moralized. Everything is about morality, which is about good and bad, pure and evil, right and wrong. You become more and more physical. You become more and more dense. You become more and more human and humane. That's why the more outer your God is or your creator is out there, the more physical you become. You're involving yourself in the brain. The heart is getting lost in the brain. So you understand that you're the creator creating this whole story for yourself. You're creating this whole narration for yourself. This whole narrative, pardon me. You're creating this whole inner dialogue. Everything that you're doing, everything that's happening is because of your doings. But understand that you are the creator. The creator. I am the creator. This is me as well. This is my clothing line. That's me. That's a creator. I am the creator, putting the creator on myself, reflecting the creator back to you, so that you see that you're the creator. See, so when you're pointing and saying my creator's there, my creator's there, it's just an atom pointing at an electron and at another electron, at another electron, at another proton, at another neutron. It's pointing at these things saying my creator, my God is out there. And the more you give that electron, proton, and neutron focus, the more that turns into a molecule, and that molecule turns into a compound, and you get lost in a more dense and dense and dense truth and reality. More dense reality and truth, and then you're out there somewhere in the grades. You're out there the further. They call it the far or the further. Then you're lost in the physical or human body. This is why everything is about right and wrong, good and bad, pure and evil. You get lost in the left brain and play with the hemisphere. And wonder why you become so human after a while. Worshipping a God or a creator outside of you. Why do you become more human? Ask yourself that. Why am I becoming more human if I'm worshipping or following a God or creator outside of you? You should not become more spiritual. You should not become more intangible. You should not be becoming more physical, more spiritual. Why am I becoming more humane? Something to ask yourself and answer for yourself as well. The last line in doorway is, we are an etheric being inside of a physical suit. That's why being in this physical suit, we create etheric beings as a subconscious reflection of our true nature. The gods or creators you create is a reflection of your true subconscious nature. That's why all the gods and creators created outside of you by us are invisible, intangible, translucent, transparent, or they represent the invisible, intangible, translucent, and transparent principles and dynamic force, or divine forces and powers. Because that's the other polarity of what we are. We are actually invisible, intangible, translucent, and transparent. That is the true nature of us. You say, well, give me an example. What do you mean by that? Prove that shit to me. What do you mean by that? Okay, well, what do you breathe? You breathe in. Okay, I breathe in oxygen. All right. Can you see oxygen? No. So what you breathe in that you can't see keeps something here that you can see, which is the body or the face. You breathe in something that can't be seen and hope for something to be seen. We breathe in what can't be seen, and what we're breathing in that can't be seen keeps something seen, which is an image, a body, form. But how is this body, image, and form breathing in something that it can't see? What is that telling you about your true nature, what you truly are? You are the creator. I am the creator. He is the creator. Maya Sazian, again, this is another fun episode. See you guys next time. But until then, I'll keep you on vision. 1, 0.